So unfortunately, I still haven't been getting access into Gaza yet to show you guys the Gaza Strip on the ground. I've been working on this for over a year, but so far we'll have to keep doing some reactions from other people who are entering the Gaza Strip. And here we have Fox News, who just entered the 8 sites, and I want to show you guys what this looks like from inside of Gaza. I'm Tal the Traveling Clat, your favorite Zionist prince. Let's take a look.
First news organization to witness a newly established food distribution center that's operated mostly by former American Special Forces. They work in cooperation with the IDF, the Israeli Army. This group, GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, was established to circumvent Hamas and, in effect, the United Nations as well. They've established 4 distribution sites inside of Gaza. Now, they are not without their problems, and they are not without controversy. But we were embedded with Americans working for GHF. They were our escorts. We went where they took us today. They took us to a station called Number 3. It's in the far southern part of Gaza, right along the Egyptian border, on the outskirts of a town called Rafah. That town has been reduced to rubble. There is very little, if anything, that stands in Rafah today. We drove for 5 miles. Nothing is left. In a conversation earlier today with the Israeli government, they told me at one point that was where Hamas had their headquarters, and that's where the Israelis believe the hostages were being held. No longer. They've all been cleared out, including every home that stood there. When you enter the distribution site, the pallets of food have been laid out in a gravel lot ahead of time. This was done hours before we had arrived there at sunrise. Now, the IDF has several snipers and cranes overhead, and the IDF fires numerous warning shots that are clearly audible. GHF tells us that is for crowd control on the ground. On the other side of a man-made berm, it's stacked rather high. From the ground we cannot see on the other side, but several thousand people are waiting there, waiting for a red flag to change to green. And off they run towards you in a flat-out sprint. The men get there first, mostly young men, I would say anywhere between the age of 12 and 16, and they continue to come. Now again, we went today where we were taken, but we were allowed to observe and record and catalog anything we saw. But they did make one request. They asked us to blur the faces of the Gazans who work for them for fear of Hamas retribution. They say that has been the case for several living inside Gaza. We spoke to several Palestinians. Almost to a person, they said they were hungry. They were trying to feed their families. They were all tired of war, and they did not want Hamas involved. This morning, we only saw a small part of this war, a small part of Gaza, a small part of this story. And one day does not make the entire story for this ongoing war here in the Middle East. There are a lot of things to be learned. We asked several questions about civilians being killed en route to 8 sites. And the GHF tells us this has not happened within their location. We want to know who's paying for it. We want to know how much more money they will receive. Those answers did not come today. Perhaps they come another day. But to a person today, the Americans with GHF say they are very proud of the work they have done and continue to do. And if they get the green light, they want to expand their operations within Gaza and try and feed as many people as they possibly can. Dana?
Bill, I'm curious if you have an understanding of what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu thinks it would take for Hamas to finally release the hostages and put an end to this.
Yeah, 2 things that haven't happened. The hostages have not come home. The bodies have not been returned for those who are deceased, and Hamas is still in a fighting mood. We may get a firm answer on that this Thursday. We'll be here all week in Israel, and on Thursday afternoon, Israeli time, we'll sit down with the Prime Minister and put that question to him, among many others. Dana?
All right, Bill, amazing, incredible work there, and I'm sure we'll see you throughout this show and the rest of Fox News. Grateful to have you there.
It's a very, very eye-opening, coverage of what's going on in Gaza. Look, nobody's been denying the situation for the civilians there is rough, but you kind of reap what you sow. Like October 7th, you could not see a civilian that wasn't celebrating. And I'm not saying to continue to make the civilians suffer, but there's no alternative. If you have an alternative, I'd be open to hearing it. But I pose this question to people all the time. What's your alternative? What can we do differently? You don't want to release the hostages. You don't want to surrender. You're unwilling to live under Israel. You're unwilling to live next to Israel. What else can we do? What else? We're not giving up any more land. It doesn't make sense with you guys. You just murder. When we give you more land, you use it to kill us. So we can't give you any more land. I genuinely ask. I pose the question to anybody who's watching. What, as Israelis, as Jews, what shall we do with you? Nothing seems to be enough. You airdrop aid, it's not enough. You bring aid like this, it's not enough. You try to secure humanitarian corridors, it's not enough. There's always somebody in bed, somebody in cahoots with Hamas, and it's impossible to differentiate between you guys. This is a failed society. It's a failed state. It's a failed experiment of a society. And at that point, you have to start undermining Palestinian identity. You have to start saying, what are the origins of this? What's the history of this? Why does it keep failing? It's rooted in muqawama. It's rooted in resistance. Take away the resistance, you have nothing. And this is kind of it, by the way. You're kind of seeing the nothingness that is Palestinian society when the resistance is gone. When they can no longer fight, what is left in Gaza? Other than trampling each other to get food and complaining about airdrops of supply. Like, the resistance is gone. They're not capable of resisting at the moment. They succumb to our will. Look at what's left in Palestinian society. It's just not operating because there's nothing there. So again, I can have compassion for the people who are suffering. I really do. I got to look out for my people first. And then I have to ask the question, what shall we do with you? Because just ending the war all willy-nilly, sorry, Habibi, the world does not work like that. You don't get to do the most horrific shit in the world to back away and say, all right, I'm done. And then this is a responsibility. This is what responsibility looks like. It looks like every house in Rafah being destroyed. That's responsibility. You allowed this to fester. You emboldened it. Every single individual in Gaza, by the way, has a level of responsibility for allowing this ideology to manifest. I mean, it's not like you had activists in Gaza who are saying, no, maybe we're overstepping. Even the Gazans who have escaped Gaza and are very, very, very few, like you can count them on one hand, the ones who are speaking out against this fucked up ideology. Most embolden it. The activists that left Gaza, most of them continue to embolden Palestinian resistance outside of Gaza. And now you get the news that 2 days ago that we are going to officially occupy the Gaza Strip. I don't know if it's actually going to happen because the Israeli government talks a lot and it ends up not doing that much. But it looks like that's the direction we're heading in. I will see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, clads. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.